If you have been trying to budget your way out of debt and it just isn't working, that is not a willpower problem. That is a strategy problem. The standard advice you hear is cut back on spending, stop buying coffee, track every dollar. And sure, those things help at the margins. But if your interest rate is high enough, cutting spending alone is not going to move the needle fast enough to matter. The math works against you before you even start.
What actually works is having a clear sequence and a system that runs even when you're not feeling motivated.
We're going to walk through 5 steps in order that will get you from buried in debt to actually building wealth. No guilt about the past, just the clearest path forward from where you are right now. Quick disclaimer, everything in this video is for educational purposes only. It's not financial advice, and we're not financial advisors. Always do your own research before making any investment decisions. Step 1 is the one most people skip, and it's the reason everything else feels so overwhelming. You need to get completely clear on what you actually owe.
Why do people avoid that?
Because when debt starts piling up, it feels easier not to look at it. You stop opening the statements, you stop checking the balances. You just make the minimum payment and try not to think about it. But avoidance is exactly what keeps you stuck. You cannot make a plan around a number you refuse to look at. So the first thing you do is sit down and write 4 things for every account: the name of the debt, the exact balance, the interest rate, and the minimum monthly payment. Log in and get the real numbers, not an estimate. When everything is on one page, it stops feeling like this huge, impossible thing. It becomes a list, and a list is something you can actually work through.
And most people have more than one, right?
Exactly. Student loans, credit cards, a car payment, a line of credit. A lot of people are carrying more than one at the same time, and they don't even know the full number. That's the starting point. See everything all at once.
You can't fix what you can't see.
Exactly. And a lot of people are genuinely shocked when they add it all up. Not because they were irresponsible, but because they were avoiding it for so long that the number got bigger without them realizing. Seeing it clearly for the first time is actually the moment things start to shift. Step 2. Before you start aggressively paying anything down, try to lower the cost of the debt itself, because the interest rate is what makes debt so hard to escape. If a huge portion of every payment is going to interest, barely any of it is actually reducing your balance.
How bad does that actually get?
Pretty bad. A $5,000 credit card balance at 20% interest, if you're only making minimum payments, you could spend over 10 years paying it off. And by the end, you'll have paid almost double what you originally owed. The bank is collecting that difference.
So what can you actually do about the rate?
2 things. First, just call your credit card company and ask for a lower rate. Tell them you've been a customer and you're looking at your options. It doesn't always work, but it works more often than people expect, and it takes about 10 minutes. The second option is a balance transfer card. A lot of Canadian banks offer promotional periods where you pay 0% interest for 10 to 12 months. There's usually a transfer fee of 1 to 3% upfront, but even at 3%, that is a fraction of what you'd pay in annual interest at 20%.
And the golden rule: do not put new purchases on that card. That window is only for paying down the balance.
Right. A lot of people make that mistake and end up right back where they started. The promotional period is a tool. Use it specifically to attack the principal and nothing else.
Even dropping your rate from 20% to 12% makes a huge difference in how fast the balance goes down.
Massive difference. On that same $5,000 balance, you could save thousands in interest just by getting the rate down. That's money that stays in your pocket. Step 3. Pick one debt and put everything into it.
Not spread it across all of them?
No, and that's where a lot of people go wrong. They spread their extra money across every debt at once. Nothing moves fast enough to feel like progress, and they lose motivation and give up. You need one target at a time. The most effective approach mathematically is called the Debt Avalanche. You list your debts by interest rate, highest to lowest. You pay the minimum on everything except the top one, and every extra dollar goes into that account until it's gone. Then you move that full payment into the next one.
What if the highest interest debt is also the biggest balance? That's going to take forever.
That's actually when the other method makes more sense, the debt snowball. Instead of going by interest rate, you go by balance. You start with the smallest debt first, clear it quickly, and use that momentum to keep going. It costs you a little more in interest overall, but if the psychological win is what keeps you consistent, it's worth it.
So one saves you more money, the other keeps you motivated. Depends on the person.
Exactly. And here's the thing, the difference between the two isn't always obvious until you actually see the numbers. So we built a free calculator to show you exactly what that looks like for your specific situation. You type in each debt, the name, the balance, the interest rate, and your minimum payment. Then you add whatever extra amount you can put in each month.
And then what happens?
The calculator instantly shows you two things. First, the payoff order. For the Avalanche, it sorts your debt's highest interest rate first. For the Snowball, it sorts smallest balance first. Second, it shows you a graph with two lines. The teal line is your Avalanche payoff. The orange dashed line is your Snowball. You can see exactly where they start to separate. That gap between the two lines is the difference in how long you'll be in debt and how much extra interest you'll pay by choosing one over the other.
So you can actually see the cost of each choice before you commit to one.
Exactly. Link is in the description. Plug your own numbers in and let it show you which method gets you out faster. Step 4. Automate the payment so it happens before you have a chance to spend the money somewhere else.
Why does that matter if you already have a plan?
Because willpower runs out. At the end of a stressful month, if the money is sitting in your checking account, something will come up and it'll disappear. So you set up an automatic transfer on the same day your paycheck arrives. It goes straight to your target debt before you even see it. You just adapt to whatever is left. If you want to take it further, open a separate account just for bills and debt payments and route part of your direct deposit there. It becomes completely separate from your day-to-day spending. You stop thinking of it as money you have, and it just quietly works every single month without you having to make the decision again.
Is there anything else that speeds it up on the payment side?
Yes, switch from monthly to bi-weekly payments if your lender allows it, because you end up making 26 half payments a year instead of 12 full ones, which works out to one extra full payment every year without you really feeling it. Over time, that adds up significantly.
And what about credit score during all this? Does paying down debt actually help it?
A lot. Your credit score affects the interest rates you get offered. So the better your score, the cheaper future borrowing gets. Paying down debt and building your credit at the same time are working together. It compounds in your favor.
What if someone is already doing all of this and it's still just really slow?
That's when you look at the income side. There is a ceiling on how much you can cut. You still have rent, groceries, transit, but how much you can earn doesn't have the same ceiling. That could mean negotiating your salary, picking up extra shifts, taking on a contract, selling something you don't need. Even a few $100 extra a month directed at your target debt makes a significant difference in how fast the balance moves.
And any extra money, a tax refund, a bonus, goes straight to the debt before it touches anything else.
Exactly. That's one of the fastest ways to see a big jump in your balance going down. A tax refund that would have gone toward a vacation can knock months off your payoff timeline instead. And here's the part people don't always think about. Once the debt is gone, you don't change your lifestyle. You take that exact payment you were already making every month and you redirect it. First into an emergency fund, then into investing. You don't feel the difference because you were already living without that money. It just starts building for you instead of paying the bank.
So getting out of debt isn't separate from building wealth. It's actually the first step of it.
It's the same machine, just pointed in a different direction. If you want a practical way to find extra money to put toward your debt each month, our Kakebo video is a great place to start. It's a Japanese budgeting method that helps you get intentional about where your money is going. And once you've cleared the debt and you're ready to build your emergency fund, watch our video on cash.to versus GICs so you know exactly where to keep that cash while it grows. Links are in the description. See you in the next one.